This was before human intervention. Then we built up our cities on those forests, like Sao Paulo, forgetting that we belong to nature as well, as much as 8.4 million other species on the planet. Our habitat stopped being our natural habitat, but not anymore for some of us. Few others and I today make these forests professionally, anywhere and everywhere. I am an industrial engineer. I specialized in making cars. In my previous job at Toyota, I learned how to convert natural resources into products. To give you an example, we would drip the sap out of a rubber tree, convert it into raw rubber, and make a tire out of it, the product. But these products can never become a natural resource again. We separate the elements from nature and convert them into an irreversible state. That's industrial production. Nature, on the other hand, works in a totally opposite way. Natural system produces by bringing elements together, atom by atom. All the natural products become a natural resource again. This is something which I learned when I made a forest in the backyard of my own house. And this was the first time I worked with the nature rather than against it. Since then, we have made 75 such forests in 25 cities across the world. Every time we work at a new place, we find that every single element needed to make a forest is available right around us. All we have to do is to bring these elements together and let the nature take over. To make a forest, we start with soil. We touch, feel, and even taste it to identify what properties it lacks. If the soil is made up of small particles, it becomes compact, so compact that water cannot seep in. We mix some local biomass available around, which can help soil become more porous. Water can now seep in. If the soil doesn't have capacity to hold the water, we would mix some more biomass, some water absorbent material like peat or bagasse, so soil can hold this water and it stays moist. To grow, plants need water, sunlight, and nutrition. What if the soil doesn't have any nutrition in it? We don't just add nutrition directly to the soil. That will be industrial way. It goes against the nature. We instead add microorganisms to the soil. They produce the nutrients in the soil naturally. They feed on the biomass we have mixed in the soil, so all they have to do is eat and multiply. And as their number grows, soil starts breathing again. It becomes alive. We survey the native tree species of the place. How do we decide what's native or not? Well, whatever existed before human intervention is native. That's the simple rule. We survey a national park to find the last remains of a natural forest. We survey the sacred groves or sacred forests around old temples. And if we don't find anything at all, we go to museums to see the seeds or wood of trees existing there a long time ago. We research old paintings, poems, and literature from the place to identify the tree species belonging there. Once we know our trees, we divide them in 4 different layers: shrub layer, subtree layer, tree layer, and canopy layer. We fix the ratios of each layer, and then we decide the percentage of each tree species in the mix. If we are making a fruit forest, we increase the percentage of fruit-bearing trees. It could be a flowering forest, a forest that attracts a lot of birds or bees, or it could simply be a native wild evergreen forest. We collect the seeds and germinate saplings out of them. We make sure that trees belonging to the same layer are not planted next to each other, or they will fight for the same vertical space when they grow tall. We plant the saplings close to each other. On the surface, we spread a thick layer of mulch. So when it's hot outside, the soil stays moist. When it's cold, frost formation happens only on the mulch. So soil can still breathe while it's freezing outside. This soil is very soft, so soft that roots can penetrate into it easily, rapidly. Initially, the forest doesn't seem like growing, but it's growing under the surface. In first 3 months, roots reach a depth of 1 meter. These roots form a mesh tightly holding the soil. Microbes and fungi live throughout this network of roots. So if some nutrition is not available in vicinity of a tree, these microbes are going to get the nutrition to the tree. Whenever it rains, magically, mushrooms appear overnight. And this means that soil below has a healthy fungal network. Once these roots are established, forest starts growing on the surface. As the forest grows, we keep watering it. For next 2 to 3 years, we water the forest. We want to keep all the water and soil nutrition only for our trees. So we remove the weeds growing on the ground. As this forest grows, it blocks the sunlight. Eventually, the forest becomes so dense that sunlight can't reach the ground anymore. Weeds cannot grow now because they need sunlight as well. At this stage, every single drop of water that falls into the forest doesn't evaporate back into the atmosphere. This dense forest condenses the moist air and retains its moisture. We gradually reduce and eventually stop watering the forest. And even without watering, the forest floor stays moist and sometimes even dark. Now, when a single leaf falls on this forest floor, it immediately starts decaying. This decayed biomass forms humus, which is food for the forest. As the forest grows, more leaves fall on the surface, means more humus is produced, means more food, so forest can grow still bigger. And this forest keeps growing exponentially. Once established, these forests are going to regenerate themselves again and again, probably forever. In a natural forest like this, no management is the best management. It's a tiny jungle party. This forest grows as a collective. If the same trees, same species, would have been planted independently, it won't grow so fast. And this is how we create a 100-year-old forest in just 10 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, how was the presentation?
Very interesting, very inspiring.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it was the best of the four or five videos that you shared, JP, because in a nutshell, it described,
Yeah.
how quickly a forest can be regenerated. He spoke very eloquently and very clearly.
Right. True. Any comment from other participants?
Yeah, it was highly simplified. I mean, a common man can also understand how does it work.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed watching it.
See, the gentleman has done almost 75 cities in 25 countries. Okay. And his sample is 100, mostly cities, urban area.
Yeah.
So the countryside, you have abundance of land. Okay. You can think of, fortunately, Rob, before coming with WCS in my area, I was thinking of the countryside where I'm making the farmhouse. I was thinking of the entire road tree plantation, okay, involving the locals, and one river regeneration. And the third project I was having for the school, local school. But anyway, that I'm getting somebody else also to look into that part so that I can spend some time with WCS. Till WCS becomes stronger enough so that no watering is required, okay, self-sustaining. So that till that time, we will need to water it to grow. Pradeep,
Maybe I
after,
can,
yeah, please,
I
please,
can add
Inge.
one thing that is going on. The World Economic Forum has started a trillion tree project worldwide.
Yeah.
And one of the things that will come online in the next month is a database called Restore. And basically, what you can do is you can zoom in through Google Earth and go to any plot on Earth, so also everywhere in India, and it will give you a list of the native species. In other words, you don't have to do all the research yourself. You
Oh,
just
that's great.
you just get the shopping list online and start collecting the seeds. So that will speed up things considerably.
I'm interested to know, Rob, if you used some of the techniques described in the video in your work in Brazil for reforestation.
Yes and no. That is to say, consciously not, but in a couple of places I had so many saplings put together in a mix that, and then I didn't have time to plant them out in the field. They became mini forests by themselves.
Yeah, so whenever this data is available, Rob, just give me also the hint so that I can also look into.
Yeah, I'll just put the link in the chat here, and maybe you can have a look at it, and maybe you can those who want to make local forests, they can ask for the newsletter, and then they'll get a warning for it.
Sure.
I like to comment things here. Thank you for presenting the film. I think it's very exciting, and one of the reasons I find it extremely exciting is due to the fact that we are. I've been working on the Toyota method, and it's called and we've been working in connection with football, and how you're actually working on playgrounds and local communities as to have growth. And why do and this is so the football IBEA is really connecting to playgrounds. And yesterday I had two kind of coincidences. One, I was invited to work with the Stockholm Plus 50, and Stockholm is actually using this bio structure for in urban settings. And the other coincidence was that the local municipality in Norway is working with like flooding systems. So it's a combination of flooding systems for like the street systems that can absorb the water together with the planting of the forest. So it's just like and this is also like the collecting of carbon collecting and harvesting of carbon. So there is like a extremely interesting approach that we can. The parking slots are like water sinks, and then collected to playgrounds and small micro forests, food forests in urban settings. And if we could build something of this wisdom to schools, and I've been looking at all these schools and all these initiatives in Pakistan, in Southern Africa, and you see how terrible it is. It's just like planting one tree and hoping it, or a million trees, without taking into consideration all the microbes and the soil cultivation. It's extremely good and nice video, I think. Important. Thank you.
In the meantime, I downloaded it with a bunch of subtitles.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wonderful. Maybe one more comment from my side is that one of the things that we're going to have to fight more and more is heat, and especially urban heat. And as you know, cities are hotter than surrounding areas because of all the concrete and the absorbent materials. And toning down the heat in a city is actually not that complicated if you take a lot of measures. And one of them could be to plant quite a few of these small forests around to cool things down. So, but it would be, there are many more things that you could do, but this is definitely an important one.
Great. Nice to see you, Dadeep. Any update from your side?
Dadeep is there.
Yeah.
Hi, Dadeep.
Dadeep,
Hello,
could
sir.
you,
Good evening.
good evening. Could you watch the video?
Yes, sir.
How do you like?
Sir, good, sir. Sir, I
Okay.
saw that video of Miyawaki tree plantation
Yeah.
method.
Yeah. But your area also is quite good area for, you are in Paradip, I think?
Where?
Paradip? Or where are you?
No, currently I am in Pune.
Oh, Pune. A nice place, yeah. Lot of greenery there.
Yes.
Good. So you may also choose some of the project for your area. Okay. That's what we had been discussing earlier as well with other team. Vishal is already doing the green project, the spreading of knowledge of climate change with his schools. He has got a lot of big project in his hand. Ravindra is also tying up with his project school. Charles is also doing some job. Roshan is also doing. So we would recommend that you should also choose any project of your interest which will be useful in your area, and you should be able to do something after going through understanding the climate change and all. Okay, that's highly recommended. And wherever you need some kind of support from any of us, we are always there. Right?
Okay, sir.
Great. Rob, I'm just taking 1 minute break. Okay, can you take over?
Yes, sure. JP, I propose actually that we have a couple of people who would like to talk a bit about their projects, because both Roshan and Ravinda and